Approaching the age of 70, it's all too easy to overlook the changes quietly happening in your body, until you realize you may have lost as much as 40% of your muscle mass without ever noticing. This slow erosion, known as sarcopenia, is almost invisible, stealing away a sense of independence bit by bit every day. Findings from Johns Hopkins University cast an especially bleak shadow. Older adults experiencing major muscle loss find themselves more than 3 times as likely to end up struggling with mobility, possibly needing wheelchairs or relying on care homes. The loss doesn't slow down either. It gathers speed after age 65, and for many, the assumption that this is just an unavoidable part of aging hides the heartbreaking reality that much of it could be avoided. Even sadder is the fact that a significant deficiency, one simple vitamin, has been slipping through the cracks, unnoticed by many physicians. Right now, roughly 78% of seniors lack enough of this nutrient, and that could be the difference between standing on your own 2 feet or managing daily routines with difficulty. Yet, amid this bleak outlook, recent work led by the National Institute on Aging has uncovered a glimmer of hope. They've identified 6 crucial nutrients with the power to actually help restore lost muscle, even for those well into their 70s and 80s. Remarkably, the supplement at the top of the list features an ingredient seldom mentioned in the doctor's office, despite clinical evidence showing it helped reverse muscle loss in nearly 9 out of 10 people within just 2 weeks. The bitter twist is that this lifeline is missing from so many diets, quietly letting frailty creep in where it might not need to be. This revelation takes a sinister turn when you realize that 92% of those involved claimed major improvements in everyday challenges, like scaling flights of stairs or shouldering heavy grocery bags, after other therapies had led only to disappointment. But before we venture further, we want something from you. Let us know where you're watching from down below. While you're here, hit that like button and lock in your loyalty with a subscription if you dare. What comes next may surprise you. Number 6 on our unsettling list, coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10. Unlike your classic vitamins, CoQ10 lurks deep in your cells, manipulating the energy supply that keeps your muscles functioning, haunting the very mitochondria known as the body's power plants. The catch? As the years slip away, your reserves of CoQ10 can plummet by up to 65%. This drastic drop saps your strength and leaves you staggering under a cloud of fatigue, a shadow most blame on the slow creep of age, unaware that something far more insidious is at work. Even worse, the very medications so often prescribed, especially statins, those guardians of cholesterol, drain your body of CoQ10, fueling a cruel cycle of decline. Over 60% of older adults on statins complain of persistent pain, muscle weakness, and exhaustion, symptoms directly tied to this vital substance being leached away. The line between remedy and ruin blurs, leaving many to wonder if they can ever reclaim what's been drained by time and medicine alike. For older adults, the daily need for CoQ10 creeps between 100 and 200 mg, but for those ensnared by statin medications, the required dose climbs to a somber 200 to 300 mg, while organ meats, oily fish, and whole grains whisper faint traces of this critical compound. The amounts lurking within are woefully inadequate, an insufficient shield against what your body now demands. Supplementation isn't just a matter of convenience. It becomes the only way to stave off the silent deficit. One such remedy lies in doctors' best high-absorption CoQ10 with BioPerine. The black pepper extract increases bioavailability by an unnerving 30%, ensuring the active ubiquinol form slips swiftly into muscle cells where it's desperately needed. For those wishing to seal the chasm of deficiency, there's Canica Ubiquinol Ultra CoQ10. The numbers speak with cold finality. They're water-soluble, patented formula haunts the competition with absorption rates 300% greater than regular CoQ10. Without these aids, CoQ10's fat-soluble nature ensures it merely drifts through your system, especially if age or digestive troubles are already dragging you down. Lurking further along the list is vitamin D. Far more than a guardian of bones, it's the unseen thread holding muscle strength, tissue, and function together as you age. These muscles are riddled with vitamin D receptors, but when deficiency takes hold, their purpose fades. Unnoticed, muscle tissue shrivels and weakens, consuming you from within. Research consistently shows a link between having enough vitamin D and better muscle strength, balance, and overall function in older adults. In one well-known investigation, seniors who supplemented with vitamin D experienced 20% fewer falls than those who didn't. a sign of improved muscle health that seems almost out of reach for so many. Sadly, vitamin D deficiency is extremely common in the elderly. More than 40% struggle with it, and the rate is even higher among those who rarely leave home or live in certain areas. When unexplained weakness or exhaustion sets in, a simple blood test may reveal that vitamin D is the missing piece. Vitamin D is integral to how the body uses calcium, which muscles need to contract properly. Without it, coordination suffers and weakness creeps in, making everyday movements a struggle. While recommendations for those over 65 suggest 800 to 1,000 IU daily, and sometimes up to 2,000 IU for those with little sunlight, relying on foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified milk is often not enough to bridge the gap. This is why supplements like Nature-made Vitamin D3 2000 IU soft gels, featuring cholecalciferol D3, are frequently suggested. They're even US verified for purity and potency. And yet, despite these easy measures, many seniors still go without, missing out on the basic strength and steadiness that vitamin D once quietly provided. For those drawn to liquid supplements, Nordic Naturals Vitamin D3 lurks at the top of the list. Each drop conceals 1,000 IU, suspended in olive oil, a choice for those who wish to avoid the substandard carriers favored by lesser brands. But fourth in our collection is vitamin B12, a substance whose absence grows more pronounced as time drains away our vitality. Absorption dwindles quietly with age, silently sowing the seeds of decay. This vitamin isn't merely a helper. It's a failing line of defense against creeping muscle weakness and nerve degradation. Left unchecked, B12 deficiency withers the body, choking nerve signals until movements falter and strength ebbs away. Too often, older adults misinterpret these ominous signs, dismissing their slow decline as an unavoidable shadow of age, ignorant of the deficiency gnawing at their core. The true horror is the way B12 deficiency stalks its victims undetected, camouflaging itself as ordinary senescence while its catastrophic effects accumulate year after year. Blood tests become a grim necessity, especially for those whose medications like metformin and proton pump inhibitors further sabotage their ability to absorb this vanishing nutrient. B12 underpins the very machinery of survival, forging healthy red blood cells that ferry precious oxygen to the muscles. When oxygen falters, the body fails, energy withers, and the most mundane actions become overwhelming burdens. Even deeper in the gloom, B12 serves as the guardian of the myelin sheath, an insulator for the nerves. Without it, the barrier erodes, unleashing chaos, trembling limbs, stumbling gait, and the chilling thought that one's own body is betraying them from the inside. The baseline advice haunts at 240 micrograms per day for older adults. Yet for many, that's nowhere near enough to ward off the darkness. Natural compounds protect your nerves. When this protective layer becomes depleted due to deficiency, your muscles might receive mixed signals from the brain, resulting in issues like tremors, an unsteady walk, and poor coordination. For older adults, a daily intake of 240 micrograms is advised, though absorption can be challenging, meaning you may need a higher dose. Animal products such as meat, fish, eggs, and dairy serve as principal natural sources. Up to 30% of people over 50 develop atrophic gastritis, which impairs B12 absorption, sometimes making supplements or B12 injections beneficial. For supplementation, Giro Formula's methyl B12 is recommended, as methylcobalamin is retained in tissues longer than the cyanocobalamin form commonly used in other brands. These lozenges melt under the tongue, skipping over the digestive system, which is especially helpful for older adults with absorption difficulties. Another strong choice is Garden of Life Vitamin C Raw B12, derived from whole foods and containing probiotics and enzymes that boost absorption by as much as 60%, an advantage for seniors facing digestive issues. The spray application is also a plus for those who have trouble with swallowing tablets. In third place, vitamin C. Beyond its reputation for immune support, vitamin C plays a key role in maintaining muscle health as you grow older. It fosters muscle integrity in several ways, most notably by supporting collagen production. Collagen, essential not just for skin, but also for building the connective tissues that surround and support muscles, depends on adequate vitamin C. Insufficient levels can weaken these structures, increasing the risk of muscle instability and a greater likelihood of strains or injuries. As people age, research reveals a quiet but unsettling decline. Those with lower vitamin C levels tend to lose grip strength and see their muscles slowly weaken. While vitamin C serves as a powerful antioxidant, trying to shield muscle tissue from relentless oxidative stress. The damage from free radicals slowly chips away at muscle, steadily encouraging atrophy and frailty. The vitamin's protective effect can only go so far. Its ability to disarm these destructive molecules gives muscle cells a fleeting reprieve, helping to delay the inevitable loss of strength and function. There is another hidden struggle. Vitamin C is vital for making carnitine, a molecule that helps muscles convert fat to energy. Without enough, energy output dwindles and fatigue sets in, turning once simple movements into exhausting tasks. Most older adults need 75 to 90 milligrams daily, but some experts suggest 200 to 400 milligrams are necessary to keep muscles from wasting away. Foods rich in vitamin C, citrus, berries, peppers, tomatoes, broccoli, and potatoes offer some hope, though the body doesn't hold on to the vitamin for long. That means the effort must be daily, constant, or the benefits quickly fade away, leaving muscles exposed to their slow decline. For those turning to supplements, options like Solgar Vitamin C with bioflavonoids offer a specialized blend to boost absorption and extend the vitamin's effectiveness in muscle tissue. But even then, is only a partial defense against time. Liposomal vitamin C, such as from Livon Labs, promises nearly complete absorption, perhaps stalling muscle loss a little longer. Still, for many, the struggle against weakening muscles feels gradual and, at moments, quietly unavoidable. Magnesium stalks the edges of muscle health, its presence so often overlooked that neglecting it comes with a quiet and sinister cost. Despite not being a vitamin, this mineral governs the fate of muscles, especially as the years pile on. For many older adults, creeping magnesium deficiency slips under the radar, accelerating muscle decay through more channels than you might suspect. Acting as the grim counterpart to calcium, magnesium is what lets muscles finally relax after contracting. Without it, muscles remain trapped in a partial, restless tension, prone to spasms, cramps, and a never-ending ache that grinds them down. Or, worse yet, magnesium is core to ATP production, the fragile spark that fuels every movement. Muscles, denied this energy, grow weak, listless, and unable to recover. Even a subtle magnesium shortfall begins to sabotage protein synthesis, hastening the ghostly retreat of muscle mass. Erosion you can almost feel slipping beneath the skin. The clock is ticking, with most seniors eating far below their daily needs, despite magnesium hiding out in ordinary foods. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, grains, and beans. Still, for many, deficiency is the default, and the effects accumulate in shadows, often surfacing only when it's already too late. This deficit worsens with the use of common medications, like diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, and certain antibiotics, which can deplete magnesium even further. All too often, exhaustion, weakness, and muscle cramps, signs of low magnesium, are brushed off as inevitable parts of getting older, leaving many seniors quietly suffering without a diagnosis or support. For those few who turn to supplementation, not all forms are created equal. High-absorption magnesium, such as magnesium glycinate, can be absorbed much better than the cheaper oxide varieties and tends to be easier on aging stomachs, while also sidestepping the laxative effects that push many older adults to give up on their supplements altogether. Then there's creatine. Despite its reputation among younger crowds focused on muscle building, this overlooked supplement could be a lifeline for older adults struggling to keep their strength. Unlike standard nutrients, creatine works through different pathways to support the energy needed for vital everyday movements, like standing up, climbing stairs, or catching yourself from a fall, tasks that can slip away all too quietly with age, chipping at one's independence. What makes creatine especially poignant for seniors is its role in increasing satellite cell production, the cells responsible for repairing and growing muscle tissue. After 60, these cells become worryingly scarce. Activity can drop by as much as half, leaving the body far less able to restore dwindling muscle. Yet studies suggest creatine could bring satellite cell activity up by around 35%, offering some hope for muscle recovery in later years. Still, for many, these interventions come too late, after years of unrecognized decline. Recent experiments reveal that pairing creatine with light resistance training doesn't just speed up muscle growth, it warps it. In as little as 12 weeks, participants saw their strength surge by 14% and gained over 2 pounds of lean mass, results that ordinarily would drag on for months through ordinary effort alone. The transformation seems almost uncanny, accelerating the ability to manage daily life independently. an outcome especially compelling as time closes in, and that independence becomes ever more fragile. For those well into the later stretches of life, dosing at 3 to 5 grams of creatine a day is the unsettling prescription. No lengthy loading phase required, unlike the regimens carved out for the young and restless, while traces of creatine lurk behind the fleshy walls of red meat and fish. Equaling the therapeutic amount would demand a monstrous consumption of around 2 to 5 pounds of beef every single day, rendering supplements less a convenience, more a necessity. The product that stands out, Optimum Nutrition Micronized Creatine Monohydrate, is refined to an unnatural smoothness, its particle size shrunken for 20 times more surface area, dissolving into the body almost too easily. For older bodies, slowed by time, this unnatural refinement ensures the supplement seeps deep, bypassing waning digestive powers. Despite its mysteriously potent effects, creatine wears the mask of safety. Over 200 clinical studies offer reassurance, as if to silence any whispered doubts. The most intriguing revelation, however, is recent research hinting that creatine's domain stretches beyond muscle, creeping into the realm of the mind by bolstering cognition. Quiet power, then, offering strength in both body and brain, so long as you are willing to add it to your daily regime and let it do its work beneath the surface, in the dark and silent places of your cells. When you rely on these 6 key nutrients together, their impact quietly exceeds anything one vitamin could manage by itself. Imagine them as a small group doing their best to protect whatever strength or ease of movement you have left. Supplements might patch over some shortages, but still, real food, vivid plates of vegetables, fruits, bits of lean protein, scattered nuts, and seeds, the rough comfort of whole grains, offers more than isolated nutrients. It brings a fading promise that your muscles might hold out a bit longer. Muscle isn't just about how you look. It's your line of defense against losing your balance, your energy, or your very autonomy as the years slip by. Holding on to these nutrients is an uncertain hedge against the day walking becomes a struggle or independence shrinks. If you think you're missing out on any of them, maybe ask your doctor. Sometimes even the best habits can't turn back time. With the right nutrition, perhaps you can slow muscle loss and cling to a little more vigor for a while. If you want, you can tell us which health worries are on your mind. Maybe joint pain nags at you, or memories seem dimmer, or your heart health keeps you up some nights. We'd be interested to know if any of this advice made a difference. If you have a story or a feeling to share,